Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to AlphaISM Radio. I am my apologies. Be honest with you, I have totally blanked out about tonight's show. There was a show planned for tonight all along, and I just totally spaced it. Just been busy with other stuff. But yeah, tonight we're going to be having Master on. Or is known as DOAMaster. He is the current CGI US DOA4 champion. So that's a large accomplishment. So I'm just gonna be asking him some basic questions, and then probably ask him if he has anything he wants to cover. And of course, feedback is always appreciated. And participation is greatly encouraged. Again, so I'm just waiting for him to call in, and we can go ahead and get this started. All right. Let's see here. Okay. What is going on here? Okay, well, until we find out where he is. Yeah, on Preppy's site, um, there was a tournament that we ran a few weeks ago, a Super Turbo tournament that I entered, and okay, hello,
Yeah, it's Master.
yeah, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, not a whole lot. All right. Um, for those, no, the bulk of the people that listen to the show don't know who you are, so I will probably let you, introduce your own self, so that way I
Okay.
don't get anything wrong.
Okay, well, if you're tuning in, my name is Emmanuel Master Rodriguez. I've appeared on the Championship Gaming Invitationals, Part 1 and 2. You might have seen me on DOACentral.com. Also an admin there. So, I mean, part of the DOA community, always active. Been playing DOA for about 10 years now. And pretty much doing DOA competitively and professionally now. So, that's pretty much it.
All right, and so now as far as is this? How can I ask this? As far as the tournaments are concerned for Dead or Alive 4, is the CGI one? Is that the biggest one for DOA 4?
CGI one, I wouldn't say it's a. You mean like prize money wise?
No, I mean like number of number of entrants.
Oh no, I think the biggest one was Evolution, I believe.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I wasn't sure how Evolution stacked up against
As far
everyone
as
else.
numbers wise go, I think Evolution was the biggest one.
What is the prize for CGI? What is the first place prize? Or did they pay out what for the top, just for the first place,
Top
or
two.
the top three, or what?
Top two, first and second place. First place will get a grand prize of $10,000, and second place will get $5,000.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right. All right. So did you go to Evolution last year? I don't remember hearing about you, so I'm not sure one way or the other.
Yeah, I was there and didn't get first. Unfortunately, I got second place.
Ah. So, all right. So, okay. So it's starting to come together now. So, Perfect Legend is the other one. Now, most people kind of confuse you with Perfect Legend.
Really?
Yeah, not confuse you, but it's like, but when I put up there that you're US DOA4 champion, they're like, wait a minute, I thought Perfect Legend was, but
Well, there's a lot of different kinds of tournaments. Like, as far as I mean, it's hard to say you got a champion or let's say you got the best in the world because you really can't say that as far as I see it. Especially in fighting games, is like you don't say Alex Valle or Daigo or Justin Wong is number one. You pretty much just say those are like the top two, top three people. It's like give or take. They might lose randomly at certain times. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, except it doesn't apply to Justin Wong because
that's different a little bit.
he is the
he
best
kind of
in
wins
the world.
just about every time. I don't know. He's like the fatality in fighting games, pretty much. But yeah, there's like a bunch. Like he got the Evolution, and there's a Canadian player that won the World Cyber Games, and then I won the CGI's 1 and 2, and so it's just like it's a bunch of different championship belts that we have, and then usually at the end in the finals, it's either like me, PL, the Canadian player, or maybe another player like BlackMamba, or just usually you get those top 3 or top 4,
So out of all of you top ones, who's the best? Is it so close that you really can't say either way, or who do you think is? I mean, where would you put yourself among the top echelon of DOA4 players?
I definitely put myself in the top 2 just about all the time. I mean,
who would be the other person?
The other person would probably like a flip of a coin with PL, maybe I guess the Canadian player or BlackMamba.
Okay.
Just because of the fact that BlackMamba has won recent qualifier where PL was at, and PL had gotten second place in that, so that's why I'm saying he might be the other person.
BlackMamba. I hope he didn't rip that off of Kill Bill, but
I have no clue where he got his name from.
All right. So how did you get started in Dead or Alive anyway?
Well, I originally started when it came out on the Sega Dreamcast, man. When it was out on that, I actually saw a demo. A friend of mine showed me a demo, and he's like, hey, you got to check out this game. And I saw it, and I was really impressed with the graphics. I was just like, wow.
In other words, you like the titties.
Oh, God. Here we go.
I'm just saying what's on everyone else's mind. I don't.
What's on your mind?
I'm just saying. Hey.
I get it. I mean, I know everybody's mentality is pretty much towards that. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's obvious that the boobs are freaking huge. No
right.
question. But, I mean, I didn't see it because of that. I just saw it because it really were smooth graphics. I was like, wow, And I was just comparing it to other games at that time, like to, Tekken 3 and whatever. And I was just like, this game looks very sweet on a Dreamcast,
So you saying that titties has nothing to do with it?
No, absolutely not. I didn't get it because I saw tits and I was like, hey, I want to play this game for the rest of my life.
Hey, weird things have happened. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that's cool. So you've been playing it. So when did you decide to? When did you know that that you could be really good at it? Really good at this game?
Well, I had been playing it since Dreamcast, and when I got an Xbox, I had played DOA 3, and then a friend of mine called me, who was actually at the CGI show. His name is King, Daniel Robertson. Mm-hmm. But he said, hey, guess what? DOA is going to be on Xbox Live. And I was like, oh, really? And I was like, wow, that's going to be, so you're going to be able to play anybody in the world. And he was like, yeah. And I hadn't had Xbox Live. I didn't even have the service when he told me this. So I was like, I got to get on there. I want to test. I'm just curious to know how good I am against, the world, quote, what I'm saying, against, since it's online play. Mm-hmm. So
you haven't gotten a chance to play it online yet?
Yeah, I hadn't played it online yet until that point. Mm-hmm. Until it came out online. So when I did, I didn't even have a mic. I was I was so bootleg. I didn't even have no money. I was on a 2-month trial that a friend gave me, and I was like, let me get on there. I didn't have a microphone. And this site called DOA Central, I'm sure you've heard of it, mm-hmm. Was throwing monthly tournaments or weekly tournaments. Dr. Dog was the one throwing it, and players like Tom Brady were in there or whatever. So they saw me playing really good. You know, they're like, oh, this is a really good player. We've seen you around. We want to invite you to this tournament. We think you should be in it. And then since I didn't have a microphone, they were like telling me to text it pretty much. So like to say yes or no or whatever. And I was like, okay. And I just started winning these tournaments. I just started placing high online, and they were calling it flukes, even though I was winning and placing top, you know, consistently online. So they were just like, you know, whatever. And then after a while, it just came down to the whole thing about it's online. You wouldn't be nothing offline, the whole argument, which I hadn't been that competitive ever. So when I went offline and competed and won offline, they were just like, holy crap, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how I
How
started.
exactly big is Dead or Alive? I mean, like the one that the last one you went to, I mean, how many entries did you say they had?
The last one, I'm trying to remember the last one I went to.
Yes, those many years ago.
Not many years ago now. That's probably like a good 6 months ago because I haven't gone to a tournament unless it was like CGI related or.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it was like 20 over 25 or something like that. I don't remember.
Oh, okay, about 25. Okay. All right, and all right, that's cool. So, so does this mean that are you officially sponsored by Microsoft and now? Are you like Fatality? You got all these.
No, I'm not like Fatality because
Well,
Fatality has buku sponsors. He has a ton of sponsors. But I do have a sponsor. I am sponsored. I'm sponsored with Team 3D.
okay.
So, which is why people call me Team 3D Master. You'll see me on the website on team3d.com or DOAcentral.com, whichever or. Yeah, whenever a tournament comes around, if it sounds pretty big or it's definitely televised or it's covered by a lot of media, my sponsor does anything and everything to get my butt there.
Mm-hmm. That's
and,
good.
Covers me for hotel, whatever.
Nice. I was just gonna say, Dead or Alive 4. Like, what other games did you play, by the way?
I've always played a little bit of Street Fighter. I haven't touched Street Fighter for a while, but I came from Street Fighter. I used to play Street Fighter before I touched DOA.
Which one?
All of them, really. My
Oh,
brother was a really big Street Fighter fan, so, and I'm like 7 years younger than my brother, so I was just like, he needed competition, so I played, he pretty much forced me to play Street Fighter. I learned to play it, so I played Street Fighter 2, 2 Turbo, Super Turbo, Alpha 1, 2, 3, Third Strike, all those. Marvel's Capcom 1 and 2, SNK 1 and 2.
Nice.
But
Okay.
but never at a competitive level because I had never been that involved with the community until DOA.
So, have you ever like messed around with the Virtua Fighter or Tekken series?
I touched Virtual Fighter a bit. I like Virtual Fighter, but first of all, I don't have the system to play it, so.
Yeah, the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, and I'll probably just wait until it comes out on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Virtual Fighter is a really nice game. It's not because it's technical or anything. I just like how it plays. I just like the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I played Tekken a couple times. To me, it just felt it had like a robotic feel to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It just felt like I couldn't. Because it seems like you can't delay strings in that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it seem? So I just felt like it's like you either do it or you don't do it, and that's it. There's no questions asked. So I was just like, nah, I didn't like it. But other than that, I didn't play Tekken that much.
What about Soul Calibur?
I like Soul Calibur a little bit. I played Soul Calibur 1, and my friend was trying to show me the game. He's like, yo, I got this game. You got to check it out, whatever. It's like, he was telling me it was similar to DOA because the graphics were just as good.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I'll play it. I liked it because, I don't know, it was the first fighting game that looked nice and it had weapons and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty interesting. But,
Soul Calibur 1 came out, years ago.
Yeah, I touched Soul Calibur 2 too, but
Oh, okay.
and then when Soul Calibur 3 came out, I didn't even touch it. I was so into DOA once I started getting competitive with DOA, which was like a little over 3 years ago, I think. That's pretty much where I've been at, just all DOA. And of course I touched other games to play games to have fun, which is what they're intended for.
By the way, I see, someone just brought up to my attention, thanks to FMJ, that there's a tournament that's having a Dead or Alive 2 tournament on Dreamcast, Dead or Alive 3.2 on Xbox, and Dead or Alive 4 on 360. Like, which version do you feel is the most representative of how Dead or Alive should be played?
which one, like as in which engine is the best way.
Yeah, which gameplay or which game is the best?
Well, they all have. I personally think that they all have their own things that make them good. You get what I'm saying? And they also have their own things that make them bad. So for DOA, for example, DOA 2 for the Dreamcast, I think it's a really good game. It has pretty solid stuff. Like, everybody, as far as when it comes to a fighting game, everybody's always looking for something that's guaranteed that you can do nothing about. You set up your opponent to the situation, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. That person is going to take that damage. You get what I'm saying? So DOA 2 on the Dreamcast, I think, has that. But it's missing the sidestep. So it's like there's no sidestep to it. So everything on the game tracks. You follow me?
Did I remember correctly that one of the biggest problems that people had with Dead or Alive 2 was the fact that counters, did like buku amount of damage?
Yeah, that was another thing. It did a lot of damage regardless if you were stunned or it was like out of the blue or whatever the situation was. It would take a lot of all the damage it would always take no matter what. So that was a problem. Now in the whole 3 series, 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, that was adjusted. It was the counter damage. In fact, I don't know why they didn't keep that damage on DOA 4. They decided to take a different route with it. Like, they still toned it down in DOA 4, but not the way it was on DOA 3. Now, the thing about 3.1 and 3.2 is that the sidestep was good. It was a good sidestep engine. You know what I'm saying? Things didn't track anymore. It was like if you saw like Jan Lee's 4-4 kick, which is like a straight side kick at you, you can actually sidestep it and just punish them for it. So that was good about that game. The only thing I didn't like about that game is that there was some really messed up sidestep moves, or there was too much frame advantage. Like there was an infinite combo. Like Hayate had a cartwheel where no matter what you do, your move, your grab, punch, kick is gonna whiff every single time, no matter what you do. And it was just like horrible. He'd sidestep you, get right behind your back, do a combo, knock you down. You did a get up kick, you did the cartwheel, mess you up, and rinse and repeat. And then another character by the name of Bass had a pickup where he can do a combo, he can do a juggle and then pick you up and have like plus 11 frames, and then you're pretty much set up to I either hope to God he's gonna grab me and I jab him, or I have to throw a grab and hope he tries to do some other kind of move at me. And even then, he'll juggle you in the air, and if there was an invisible wall behind you, he had the ability just to do an infinite combo and finish the match. So that was a problem that I saw in those games. And I mean, there was frame advantage also in that game, but I think it was just like, to me, frame advantage in DOA is needed, but not that much where you need like moves like that, where you get a get up where it gives you like plus 10 or 11 or plus 5 moves in that game, mainly because frame advantage in that game is not as useful because of the counter hold system. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you're giving them frame advantage, but it's like it's more like a block stun, really. It's always going to be a block stun, but they could always counter your next move. It's not like I guess you can compare it to Tekken, where you do a move where you get plus 5, but you don't have to worry about a counter afterwards. You can still keep attacking without them trying to be offensive to you. So I don't think it's needed as much. I think there should be some moves, but I mean, in 3.1, it seemed like they have an enormous amount of frame advantage moves in that game.
So what are the good things about DOA 4?
It's really fast. It's a faster game. If you play DOA 4, and even though it's like still 60 frames per second, they say. And even though if you were to play DOA 4 for a month and try to go back to DOA 3 or even DOA 2, you would definitely feel a big difference. You feel like you'd be playing online. So you'll just go back. Like I played DOA 2 today because I wanted to play a friend that wanted to play me, and I got on there and I was like, this game is incredibly slow. It's just like, it's unreal. It just feels unreal, like how back then it used to feel quick, but now it feels just really, really slow.
Do you think DOA 4 is broken?
Nah, I wouldn't say DOA 4 is broken.
Like, is there like one or two characters that dominate everybody else?
No, I wouldn't say there's one or two characters that dominate everybody else. I'd say that you'd have to have, I'd say about 4, maybe 5 characters that dominate just about the rest of the roster.
Out of how many total characters are there in DOA4?
Dang.
You supposed to have these numbers. You gotta be quick with this,
I
Champion.
gotta be quick with this. I only
Yeah.
use one character, man. Nah, it's about, I don't know, like 25 or something like that.
Okay. 5 out of 25. Well, I mean, I guess against Third Strike doesn't look so bad. But I mean, that's being real, you know. But
But the reason there isn't any broken characters is because of the counter hold system. It always puts that in check. You get what I'm saying?
mhm.
The hold system is just,
To
regardless of-
people that don't play it, can you explain what the whole system is? Because I don't know what the
Okay.
hell you're talking about.
a hold system is pretty much it's like a parry like in any other game, except it gives damage, guaranteed damage when you hold the correct move. In DOA, there's high moves, low moves, mid kicks, and mid punches, which in turn gives you 4 different counter holds, which is highs, lows, mid kick holds, and mid punch holds. Now, in DOA, the stun system is very big. So whenever you stun somebody, that's your point to capitalize on what you want to do as far as, getting a couple more hits in and then launching them or just launching them right away. But when the person is stunned, you can counter hold them. So let's say if you're becoming very predictable by using a lot of mid punches or a lot of mid kicks, they could mid kick or mid punch hold you. So and that's pretty much how it works. So whenever it comes to those characters that become abusable or have abusable moves, the whole system keeps that in check.
And so
However, there's some characters that have holds that are not as good as others.
so it's not uniform throughout all the character roster.
Some people have holds where it'll take a little bit of damage, but will leave your opponent back turned. But doesn't really it guarantees like +5 or something like that.
What does that mean? +5. What does that mean?
It just means that you're 5 frames ahead of whatever else they're going to try to do. They're inactive for 5 frames.
Right. Okay. That's it. It's like, but and so my question is this: like on this hold system, it's like if you're becoming predictable. Let's say you throw one of your mid kicks, and I do a hold, so it would do damage, and then depending on the character, it gives you frame advantage, right?
Depending on the character's hold, yeah.
Depending on the character's hold. So one character's mid kick hold may have different frame advantage for another character's mid kick hold. Am I correct?
Yeah, similar to that. Let me give you an example. Let's say Lei Fang has a mid kick hold where it takes little damage or hardly any damage and pushes you to the side, leaving you back turn, giving her options to think of something like, grabbing you back turn. I mean, the grab is not guaranteed, but it's a mix-up. It's part of the game. This game is all about mix-up. So that character has that hold, whereas Hayate will mid-kick hold you and launch you like 30 feet in the air and can get a free juggle if he wants to. He can let you drop on the floor, but nobody does that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So obviously Hayate is better.
Right, as far as the mid-kick hold is concerned. Yes.
Right, because on the for the other character you mentioned, the mid-kick hold gives him a throw, but the throw is not guaranteed. So in other words, the throw could be broken.
Right. It's
not
necessarily broken, but interrupted. It's just not guaranteed. It's just a mix-up. It's like the other person is like on the defensive, but he's still like he still has a chance to get out of that. Is the whole point. Whereas Hayate's is already you're up in the air and you're gonna get hit. You're gonna take damage.
Okay. So because is that what really separates the top tier from the other characters?
That usually plays a role. That and like wall game, ground game also.
Well, what's wall game?
Well, the wall game is how well a character can take damage against the wall. Where like in the wall game of DOA4, if you're really close to a wall and your feet are touching the floor, in other words, if you're not launched in the air, and you get knocked into the wall, you get a wall bounce. And after that wall bounce, your character, can obviously follow up with another launcher or another hit, as long as the other character doesn't, hold you after that, because when they're doing the wall bounce, it's considered a stun and they can hold you. You get what I'm saying?
That's the part. Okay, you missed me on that. In other fighting games, when you're stunned, you can't do anything.
Right.
But in this game, it's different. When you're stunned, you can do something.
Yeah, you still have a chance to hold your opponent, or you can slow escape, which is like Virtual Fighter, where you just mash the buttons to get out of your stun.
So that is why you said earlier that people don't like DOA4 because nothing is guaranteed.
Right.
Because in most other games, especially 2D fighters, when you're stunned, well,
yeah, you're gonna get messed up.
I see. So, but is it so on a game like this where even when you're stunned, you're not guaranteed any hits? So you say it's a mix-up game because you don't necessarily you don't necessarily have to go for the mid kick. You can go for a mid punch or go high or low, and they got to guess where you're going with that. So this
in a way, yeah.
I mean, or feel free to correct me, but I'm just trying to understand the rudimentary basics of the game.
Everybody just calls it differently. Some people call it guessing, some other people call it betting, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I mean, to me, so I guess there's no knowing your matchups because I'm sure that certain moves are better than others, and certain people have a propensity of using, maybe high or low moves because of the properties they may have, or the damage it may do, or the options it may give them. So, I assume. So to me, it's just, whoever is the best educated guesser and has the best reflexes, does the best, right?
Mm-hmm. And which is why they have the hold system and the slow escape as well. Slow escape, you understand what that means, right?
No, what is that?
Okay, you know how in Virtual Fighter when you get in a stun, the little joystick comes out on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you can do in DOA when you're also stunned.
Oh, so you just mash out. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you can mash.
Kind of like Street Fighter when you're in you have the little ducks around your head.
Oh, you're dizzy.
Yeah, you're dizzy.
Or like Guilty Gear, where it's like the same thing. You could, you can mash out of. Oh, okay. Like so, in other words,
you have two options.
Mm-hmm.
You have the hold. You can hold immediately to get out of the stun, just to get out of the stun, not necessarily to counter their move. Or when you're stunned, you can wait until their move comes out so you can counter hold them, or you can slow escape, which is mash the joystick around and mash the button so you can get out of the stun.
Okay.
However, when you slow escape, the more you do it in a round, the faster it gets. So in other words, they won't be, even though they stun you with a good stun, you'll get out of that stun faster and faster the more you do it. It'll reach a certain speed that you can't get any faster, but it just gets faster, and it makes it harder for them to continue the stun or to stun you really quick and launch you right after.
Oh, so I assume this is a built-in mechanism to prevent abuse, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's also to, for players that just don't want to hold, because the thing about the hold, like you said, you could guess or you could bet that they're going to do a low hit and counter hold low. But the problem with the holds is that it can be punished by a grab, and it takes 150% more damage than regular if you are holding and someone grabs you.
Well, you take 150% of the damage?
Instead of just doing the regular, instead of doing regular 100% revision, it'll do 150%.
Okay. So, in other words, if you do a hold, and someone says, aha, I got you, because I'm not actually doing an attack, and they grab you for a grab move, you tell me it's going to do 150% damage?
Yeah. So people don't abuse the hold.
Oh, I see.
So that's part of the mix-up. So let's say I'm playing somebody, and I just stunned them, and I was like, all right, I stunned him. He seems like he's trying to slow escape, or he seems like he's going to wait for my next attack. I'm going to go ahead and stun him one more time with the move I don't think he's going to expect. And after that, I think he's going to try to hold me after that. And since I think he's going to hold me, I'm going to go ahead and throw a grab out. Or I'll wait for the hold to come out on the screen, and I'll grab him.
Mm.
And then I'll punish him for that, for holding me, or for trying to predict me when he couldn't,
Oh, I hope you people out there are learning something about Dead or Alive. I mean, so, how hard do you think it is to learn, Dead or Alive for those who've never played the game but are used to playing fighting games?
I think it's, if you're used to playing fighting games, I'm used to playing all kinds of fighting games, and I think if you play fighting games, you should be able to pick it up pretty easy. It's, from what I'm told, it's one of the easier fighting games to pick up, but it's hard to master.
Okay, so it was one of those things. So, so why did... I'm sorry, what?
I was going to say, for some reason, I get a couple Guilty Gear players saying that they compare it to they compare it to Guilty Gear for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe
Well,
I'm missing. I don't play Guilty Gear that much, so I don't know what.
well,
what it is.
okay, I can see why, because when you're talking about like shake mashing out, like moves and stuff. See, that's in Guilty Gear. It's called stagger. When you hit someone with a move, it causes them to stagger and they can't block or do anything. And there's an icon that pops up there that says wiggle your joystick to mash
Right.
out of it. So I guess it's similar to the stun that you're talking about in Dead or Alive, you know. Although it's really interesting though, because I think that's actually an ingenious concept that that stuns as the round goes on will get progressively, you know, faster recovery.
Right.
So you just can't use one move to stun you all, you know, over and over and over again until you're dead.
Right. And plus, you're never in this game. You're never allowed to use the same move twice, ever.
What do you mean?
Let's say I stun you with forward punch. If I were to stun you with forward punch again, it would take you out of the stun.
Oh, you mean if you use it twice in a row?
Yeah, in other words, if I'm abusing that move, it takes you out of the stun. It makes your recovery from that stun just automatically faster. You just automatically get out the stun a lot quicker for me to not be able to follow up with something else.
Okay. All right, that's cool. And so, but does that mean that if you say forward punch, if that's done, does that mean that even if you use it 10 seconds later and that person has been recovered, if we use it again, they're automatically going to recover?
No. As long as you're in the stun from the initial hit,
Oh, okay.
you can't use it again. In other words, you have to do forward punch and then something else afterwards, and then you can use forward punch again. You just can't do it consecutively.
Okay. That makes sense. All right, because I'm like, man, this is good. I'm actually learning something about a new fighting game. You know, well, if someone were to begin playing Dead or Alive 4, what would you recommend as far as like a beginning character? You know, like to learn the basics of how the game plays and all of that good math.
I guess as far as easy characters to pick up, you can. It seems like the basic characters that I see in my mind are like Hayate, Genfu, probably Kasumi. They're really basic, and a lot of the moves that they do or special moves are similar to like Street Fighter, you know, Kurosoko forward punch and stuff like that. And it's really easy to start off a combo and launch and stuff like that with those.
I'd say Ein would be pretty basic too.
Yeah, Iron is pretty basic, but it's the other characters I named have more options as far as launchers go.
That's true, but I think Ein is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dead or Alive 4, you know, what do you you have your DOA Central. Are you the owner of the site, or you the admin, or
I'm an admin. I'm not the owner of the site. The
Okay.
owner of the site is Dalzim. That's his name. Morris is his real name, and he's the owner of the site. But I'm an admin.
You know, because where do you see the DOA community growing, or do you see it expanding? Well, I mean, what do you hope to accomplish with the community?
I hope to accomplish that the DOA community or the DOA game in general becomes a respectable game throughout the world. Something like Virtua Fighter or Street Fighter or even Tekken, something like that, where it's a respectable game and people can understand why it has its fighting style or why people play it competitively. You know, most of the people are saying that, like you said earlier when we barely started talking, that game is boobs, whatever, or it's random. And then the fact is, it's not random. I mean, it really isn't random, because when you look at the tournament history, you see the same names at the top three. You know what I'm saying? So it can't be that random if you keep seeing the same similar names. You follow me?
Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would definitely not say that the game is random. I think the game has received a poor rap, but Guilty Gear has received a poor rap too. So it's not like that's new, and it's not necessarily indicative of the game itself.
It seems like to me, a lot of fighting games go through the same steps.
Mm-hmm.
From what I'm told, I think Afrocold had mentioned it to me earlier on AIM, that Tekken was going through the same problems before it got respect or something like that. When it barely had came out.
Did you ever hear that? Did you know that the guy behind Dead or Alive 4, Dead or Alive series, I hear that guy is a real asshole. actually.
Itagaki, Tomonobu Itagaki.
Yeah, he actually not only is he an asshole, but apparently he got charged with sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment.
Yeah, I'm like, oh goodness gracious. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't
seeing
know.
how the game got such big titties and all of that, I mean, does that really surprise me? No,
I mean, I have no clue what the whole sexual harassment is, but as far as him as a person, I think he's a very cool person. I've met him myself.
Oh, you did?
Cool. Yeah.
How did that go?
He's very cool. I mean, he gave us. Actually, we met him at E3. It was, what I mean by we, it was like a bunch of representatives of the DOA Central community, including the DOA Central owner. So we were there and we talked to him, and he was very cool. He gave us quite a bit of his time that he didn't have to give, which was like over 45 minutes.
Wow. So what did you guys get the chance to ask him? What did you guys get the chance to get out of him?
We asked him about, like, this was right before DOA4 was even going to come out, and we just had asked, what's gonna be in the DOA, in the next DOA series, or when's the next launch, and what are you gonna do about the sidestep? We had asked questions about that, and pretty much, and he answered a couple of questions. In fact, he was just like, there was a couple of things that he said that needed to be tweaked out, including sidestep. So I was like, okay. So we asked a couple of questions dealing with the game and what his future projects are, stuff like that. And he answered what he could, and then he had a translator there, so he was just telling us, expect a couple of things to be changed quite a bit when DOA 4 comes out, and he had planned to throw a DOA tournament. I don't know if he still plans to do that, but he said he wanted to make this big old anniversary tournament that would be international.
That's cool though. I mean, I envy you though, because I wish I could meet the design, the developers behind Guilty Gear, and like, hey, what's up? Only thing they could have made that a perfect trip for you guys if you guys just actually get a chance to play against them.
I played him already. I played him in the old DOA though. I didn't play him in DOA 4.
Oh, you lucky bastard!
Mash that head in, no question.
Oh, you beat him recently?
Yeah.
He said, what did he say after you beat him?
He said something in Japanese, and then his translator said, "Oh, very good Hayabusa player, blah blah blah."
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Hey, Master.
What's up, man?
You going to LA this weekend?
I'm going to what?
You going to LA this weekend?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
All right, cool. I'm gonna be there too.
Sweet, we can get some matches in.
Oh yeah, I don't think I fought you yet.
Oh no, we didn't even play at Evo, did we?
Nope.
Dang. Yeah, we'll play there for sure.
All right. I got a lot of money matches, so I gotta get practicing.
Hey, that's one way of getting better.
I hear you, man. All right. So, what's your prediction for this year at Evolution?
For what game? Because DOA's not in it this year, from what I'm told.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, man. That was not intentional.
Are you trying to be a jerk or something?
No, that was
up?
not intentional. That's not intentional. Although I'm here at Virtual Fight Me looking for a few good players. So, no.
No.
How do you feel about them? I mean, obviously I know how you feel, but do you agree with the decision that they made?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I think they should have kept it in there, but I mean, they have their, I guess you could say their quotas or whatever for each tournament, and DOA just didn't meet it, and I understand that. And as far as a business point or as a business aspect, you just got to follow what your sponsors want. You get what I'm saying? If your sponsor, regardless of how much you may love that game, if it's not meeting its quota, I mean, you got to take it out, and I understand that. So it just didn't do it, and maybe not the year that's coming, or not this year, but hopefully maybe next year, give it another chance. Maybe DOA 5, whatever comes up next, or it just depends, because since CGS is starting up and WCG still has it, well, it's mainly CGS because CGS has like a lot of marketing issues with the game, so like it's only exclusive to CGS as far as TV goes or something like that, so there might be some problems. Kind of like Smash, Smash had a problem since it was an MLG.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the same thing right now with DOA.
Yeah, but
legal issues.
I mean, so what out of all of the tournaments, which one is what's going to be the biggest will have the biggest DOA turnout?
Turnout.
DOA Tech, I think, in Virginia.
Oh,
Where?
DOA Tech.
That'll probably be the biggest turnout.
I'm definitely hitting that one up.
Wait a minute, which one you said in Virginia?
It's called DOA Tech. It's going to be in November.
That's the one with the all 3 games, isn't it?
Yeah, $1,000 for each game, and for Virtua Fighter 5.
That one seems pretty hot.
Wow, so, I mean, Dead or Alive was like the first time I've ever seen someone. Well, not really. I mean, I guess, no, that would be the first. I can't think of another game where you play 3 different versions of it at the same tournament. I can't really think of
it's kind of like having ST and Third Strike at the same tournament. It's just that we have more versions of our game,
Right, but the difference between ST and Third Strike is like the difference between, Paris Hilton and Queen Elizabeth, It's just one of those things where,
these games are pretty different, too. It's like they had Tekken Tag and Tekken 5 or Tekken 4 or something like that at EVOs, It's kind of similar to that.
Right.
I mean,
is this just a tournament thrown by a fan, or is this sponsored? What's going on? How big is this?
It's being thrown by Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He should be getting ready for the playoffs, shouldn't he?
No, man.
I'm sorry.
Bill Matudis, man. You know who it is.
Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat MK player.
By the way, is his name really Tom Brady?
No. His name's
No.
Bill.
So why is he that much of a Patriots fan that he took his?
No, he doesn't even like the Patriots. The name was given to him
by someone who does like the Patriots.
The story I heard was that he was wearing a Tom Brady jersey or something like that, and they just started calling him Tom Brady. As far as I know, that's how it went.
And this stuff.
Yeah.
On a team that you don't even like. Interesting. Okay. All right. I've exhausted my list of questions, but if you guys have anything that you want to talk about, I'm open.
All right. What is it? What you've heard as far as DOA is like? Do you consider DOA part of the fighting game community, or do you think DOA is its own community?
Well, I mean,
because that seems to be tossed up quite a bit. DOA is like, it's not part of the fighting game community. It's not accepted by the fighting game community. So is it its own community, or is it like Smash, or what is it like? And what is your thoughts on that?
Well, okay. Here's my thoughts on it. If you ask me personally, I think that any fighting game that has, a modicum of following, I would consider that part as a fighting game community. Just because we're all facing the same obstacles of making, the fighting game genre a respectable genre again, in the eyes of casual gamers.
Right.
And now if you ask about what the masses think, I think that the masses probably don't give 2 shits about Dead or Alive, which is unfortunate though, because I think that in order for us to see the community, or to see the genre prosper, we all need to band together and support each other.
That's what I think. I think we definitely need to somehow come to some kind of agreement or something where we are working together, because I think it hurts the fighting game community more to be against DOA than to be towards DOA. Get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that DOA is having a lot of opportunities right now, and mainly because it's easy to see for people and easy to grasp for casual gamers, and it's a fighting game that everybody's liking, so it makes it easier for other fighting games to slip in. Yeah, and it's new, obviously.
It's new. I mean, that's one of the things. It's new. It's relevant. It's got big boobs. It's got the marketing. It's got Microsoft. When you have all of that, you got a surefire hit. By the way, someone wants me to ask a really technical question. He says, could you ask them what kind of Okazine game there is in DOA4? I watched some matches and people would knock down, walk up, and then just sit there blocking until their opponent got up. Do you know?
I don't think I understand the question quite well, but
how the ground game works.
Yeah, it's the ground game, like on Wake Up. It's kind of like when you pick Hayabusa, how you'd be like rolling over with that Hayabusa flip, and then you hit
is
him
that what he means?
from behind. Yeah.
No, like hitting people on the ground. How does that work?
Oh, okay. If he's asking that, is the ground game for DOA is like, if you don't tech, you get automatically. You can get a hit. You get 2 hits, 2 weak hits. You can either get 1 strong hit or 2 weak hits when you're on the floor, if you do not tech. So if you, let's say you go with the route of giving just 2 weak hits, you give your first weak hit, which prolongs the stun of the ground game, leaving your opponent longer on the floor, which means you can do another weak hit or actually do a strong hit right afterwards, forcing them to get up. And that's pretty much like frame advantage, where you can dash in and do a grab, an attack, or whatever it is you want to do. And also a different way to, and the thing is, in DOA4, everything in the game can be teched. Every combo can be teched. However, there's certain specific combos that you can do where you can force your opponent on the floor, where they have to be on the floor, and then you can get that frame advantage where you can force them up and then dash in and do whatever it is you want to do.
You tell me that there's moves that actually force them to stand or at least be on their feet?
No, there's moves that force them to actually be on the floor. You know how, like, let's say I were to knock you, I was doing a juggle and I knocked you down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can tech every combo. However, there's certain combos that each character has, just about every character has, where he can end it a different way and force you to be on the floor, forcing the Okamizi there and like making you get up. Because if you're on the floor, obviously you'll get hit when you're on the floor, and eventually you have to get up. You can't just get infinite amount of hits on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So when he forces you to get up, as you're recovering, he can dash in and start another attack, putting you on the defensive again. Of course, you can hold, but there's certain frames where you can't hold. It starts to get like really technical. You have to know what frames you can't hold, because it's like a glitch. Yeah, I don't want to say it's a glitch, but they say it's a glitch in the game where there's a certain frame after they force you to get up that you cannot hold. You only can block. It's like taking the hold out of the game.
Mm.
And that's good for a few characters, because knowing that you can't hold takes that option away. You know, it's just like I'm pretty much forced to either block or wait until I see the animation of his attack.
Someone will want me to ask you about Dead or Alive and the qualifiers at CGS in July.
In July? There's no qualifiers in July. By then, that'll probably be the season. I think they mean June. June. They're talking about June, like the National Combine.
I guess I just repeating what he said. So.
Yeah, that's yeah. He's talking about June. I think it's June 7th. They're gonna have the national qualifier where they get all the qualifiers. Mamba, is that you on there?
Yeah, I'm in there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like June.
Yeah,
June 9th and 10th, and then like it's on June 12th.
Exactly. And Mamba, right, that's listening right now, he's qualified in one of the qualifiers, so he's gonna be there, or hopefully he'll be there, and he'll be participating.
Oh, I'll be there.
But all the players that qualify in all the qualifiers that went throughout the U.S. and the online ones will go to the national qualifier, so everybody can be eligible for a draft to one of these 6 teams. These national teams that they're going to have for Championship Gaming Series.
Yeah, and if you want to try to qualify, there's going to be qualifiers this weekend in L.A. at, what is it, the Bridge or something like that?
Yeah, the Bridge.
The Bridge in L.A.
I think I have the address.
By the way, you know, since I got you on the radio, I mean, I asked this of every guest that's been on the show.
Oh God, it's not the $1 billion question, is it?
Why would you say that?
Oh man.
No. Anyway, I was just gonna say the question was like, for $5 billion.
Oh my God, it is.
No, I mean, I think it's a legit question.
You have to ask this to everyone.
I don't have to, but you know,
it's a requirement. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage. You're right. That's a good way of putting it. Now, but for $5 billion, you know, would you commit necrophilia with Ray Charles' corpse?
What the heck?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna go with no.
No. Why?
Mind you, I said $5 billion, not $5 million.
Oh, $5 billion.
Yeah. See, $5 billion, you know, makes you rethink, you know, what you find, you know, what you can and what you cannot do.
What you can and what you cannot do. I have somebody dressed up as me do it, and I'll just say it was me.
That's smart, but
that
probably
$5 billion.
that probably wouldn't work.
Split it.
All right, I don't think Ray Charles would mind.
I don't think you'd be watching. Oh God.
But let me also
Yeah.
something. Can I ask you a question? Going back to Dead or Alive for a second, so since nothing in the game is guaranteed, does that mean that there's no combos in the game?
No, there's definitely combos in the game.
So there are certain moves where if you hit, you're guaranteed to tie it into another move.
No, not like that. I guess if you want to put it that way, there is no combos in the game.
There's no ground combos.
Yeah,
But there's.
But
Yeah,
at the
like,
same
of course
time,
when you
I
get
think,
him
I think what he's saying is that the fact that that a person can counter hold you or slow escape, that there's no real combos in the game. Like you can't do a move and follow it with something else,
Right,
knowing
right.
that it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And there isn't unless you're in the air, and that's it.
Right. So only in the air is it guaranteed. If it's on the ground,
If his feet are touching the floor and he's stunned, there's nothing guaranteed. Except for just lowing once you launch them, or if you already grab them. Because grabs are unbreakable in the game except for regular grab.
Neutral grabs.
Yeah, neutral grab.
Can you explain to me what's neutral versus
A neutral is like when you don't push a direction when you throw. You just push
The throw button.
free. Yeah.
Free plus punch.
So those are guaranteed.
Those are not guaranteed.
Those are not guaranteed.
Those are not guaranteed unless your character has a specific wall grab move, which means it turns into a... Oh, I can't believe I forgot the word. Turns into a command grab. Where if your opponent's next to a wall and you do a neutral grab near a wall, it can turn into a command throw and they can't break it because they're near a wall and it does a different animation.
Okay. Someone says they thought that 2 weak hits were guaranteed on the ground.
Well, that's if you put them in the ground game. Once you put them in the ground game.
Oh, you mean actually put them on the ground, like on their back or on their stomach?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you did a combo and you finished it a certain way where you hit them right when they landed on the floor and they're stuck on the floor until you bring them up, pretty much. Or you have a certain amount of time to bring them up.
Okay.
And what's it called?
I just farted. Damn, that stinks.
Oh, God. Goodness. So have you yourself like kept up with the Championship Gaming series or anything at all, or World Cyber Games?
To be honest, no.
Have you played DOA4 yet, Ben?
I actually think I have. But
When it came out, or
I don't remember doing it though. But there's my brother had an X360, and I thought for sure he had Dead or Alive 4, so there's a possibility that I have.
yeah, but
All right, if you start playing, just remember to pick Helena, and you'll be all right.
Pick who?
Helena.
yeah, just press down with the Bakuho and you're invincible.
Cool. Let me write that down. Because I'm sure you're never going to give me misleading information.
Of course not. Why would we?
But
But I mean, anybody that's listening and is trying to pick up DOA or is curious to pick up DOA, you should definitely do it. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there. And if you want to find out how to get more involved in the community or find out how the community is like, you can always go to DOAcentral.com, which is the #1 website for DOA.
Or you can go to DOA-plus.com, which is
Right. And
that's DOA site.
We have a chat box.
and you can be get involved as much as possible.
Yeah, both sites are good though.
Okay. Well, cool. Let me ask something else that I wanted to ask. So, I mean, is it about time for Dead or Alive 5?
I guess not yet. Most fighters have like a lifespan of like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's been out for what, 4 years, right?
Not Capcom fighters. Those last for years and years.
Well, yeah.
Well, Capcom Fighters is like Methuselah. I mean, it's like 960 some odd years before they finally kicked the dust. So
That's right.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah.
So,
But DOA 5 should be coming around. I think should come around within like another year and a half. But I mean, like you said, the creator just got in some lawsuit and all that stuff, so that can delay things.
he got in a lawsuit.
Or whatever that sexual harassment case.
Okay. Oh yeah. He got, you know, you know what? I don't mean to laugh at his misfortune, but it would be hella funny if like the lady's testifying that she was walking by and he just grabbed her titties. You know.
Oh, God.
You know.
Just randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He wanted to know the physics that he needed to use for the game.
Yeah, it was game testing.
Yeah.
I would love to hear him use that as an argument. I was actually testing the movement for Dead or Alive 5.
Wanted to make sure it was genuine.
Someone says that they heard a rumor that Dead or Alive 4 was coming out for PlayStation 3. Crap or a possibility?
Crap. Not gonna come out.
Nope.
Nope. Not a possibility at all.
Not even a Wii?
A Wii?
Oh, hell.
Definitely not.
Don't be hating on the Nintendo Wii.
I'm not hitting on the Wii, but if you're trying to put DOA on the Wii, it's just not gonna work. I'm not trying to do any Zuna drop anytime soon on the Wii.
What are you talking about,
No,
man?
spin around a little Wii controller in circles.
You know what's the most growing epidemic in the country? Obesity. You know, it's time to make people start exercising.
That's right.
Since people
no
play
question.
4, 5, 6 hours a day, you know, I mean,
On that Wii Sports.
that's right, man. Wii tennis.
There you go. Get you sweating.
That's right, man.
If you're sweating with Wii tennis, you definitely need to work out.
Well, you know what? My doctor told me. I told my doctor that I sweat when I eat. That I used to fort, and he said that it might be a good idea that I might, you know, start thinking about, you know, losing weight, you know.
Oh, I see. But let me get back to DOA real quick and ask you something else. Where do you see DOA in your eyes as far as the community goes and the game goes? Like, even if DOA 5 does come out, do you think it's gonna grow more, or do you think maybe the fighting game community will accept it more? Because I've talked to a couple other players. Like, I've talked to this Japanese player that came down here to America, and he was telling me that DOA was growing in Japan not only because it was the latest game, but it makes it easier for them to compete against each other because of online play. It was the only one that had the latest fighter that had online play.
Right.
And he had thrown a recent tournament in Japan where he had 60 plus competitors online from Japan. They wanted to compete in DOA, and it seemed to him, or from what he was telling me, that Virtual Fighter is definitely obviously the top game, and then you got Tekken, and he said DOA was pretty much next on the list in Japan.
Had a third strike?
That's what he told me.
Wow.
Well, I think here, I first of all, it's at least when it comes to the SRK community, but the fighting game community is very slow to adapt, you know, to adopt new games, and a lot of people just do not want to go through that whole, you know, that whole learning phase, you know, where you gotta be a scrub.
Right. They're already comfortable. They're already comfortable with one game, so they don't want to. They don't want to start over.
Yeah, that's what it seems. I seem like I get that same feeling where it's like, you know, this is the light and that is trash or something like that. Where, you know, everybody's already used to this, and we shouldn't have to get used to something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is bad. I mean, me personally, I mean, I hopped onto DOA regardless of how it was. I'll get onto any game just because I like playing the game, and now that I'm competitive, I play other games just because I'm competitive now.
But on the flip side of the coin, what game are you thinking about branching out to any games?
I was thinking of branching out to another game, like not right this second, just because of so many things that are going on.
Shaq Fu?
Shaq Fu, come on.
Nah.
A high-level Shaq Fu player.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on, so I'm concentrating more on DOA as far as I'm like, you know, it's where I'm standing. But I wanna go to the PC side actually and pick up a different game and pick up real-time strategy game.
A what?
A real-time strategy game.
Okay. Now you just got through talking about how, the
But that's
community.
that's a whole different game, though.
Right? Yeah. You just talk about the fighting game community not adopting new games and blah blah blah. And you told me, well, you did my best shout out to other games you got. Nah, I think I'll just stick with DOA4 and then maybe play a real-time strategy game. Okay. Yeah.
Because
all right.
I play all fighting games. I play Third Strike. I'm learning Marvel right now. Play Tekken, Virtua Fighter. So I'm trying to play as many fighting games as I can, supporting as many scenes as I can.
Good luck on Marvel.
Oh yeah, I'm flailing in that. It's really hard.
I actually think that I don't really think maybe it is possible for those who live around the competition and have the time. But I think for most people like me who has a 40-hour a week full-time job and they don't exactly play games like every minute every day, I really do think it is almost impossible to become truly competitive with that game without investing a whole lot of time into it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna try to get high level in that game. It's just so much stuff to learn.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that comes back to the fighting game community that, they've invested, those players or the fans of those players have invested so much time into that game, which in turn also makes them not want to jump into another new game like DOA as well. Because like you said, it will take a lot of time to invest in a game like that to stay on top. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, I probably would feel the same way too, but I wouldn't know unless I was actually doing it. Like I spend so much time, I don't want to hop somewhere else.
Plus, the thing about it though, but some of it is understandable though, because I mean, if I would have your skills at Dead or Alive, I'll be practicing, pretty much that exclusively because hey, there's tournaments here, you can win 10 grand, or 5 grand here, 10 grand there, 2 grand there.
Well, that's what seems like DOAMaster is trying to do, from what he told me last time, that he's trying to pick up DOA and try to get involved just because there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of money in it,
Mm-hmm.
And
have you played him? Is he any good yet?
He's okay. He's an okay player, but he definitely needs to practice more. It doesn't seem like he practices as much as he should, because he still plays Tekken, doesn't he?
I don't know. I haven't talked to DOAMaster in a long while, actually.
Yeah, he actually played Tekken at the Buy.com event.
Yeah, he beat me in the first round.
Yeah, I also played DOAMaster in DOA too, and I pretty much beat him easily.
Yeah, so I just think he doesn't invest enough time, and he has a lot of things on his plate too, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know what his story is, but that's why he's trying to get involved, because he knows there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of money involved in DOA.
Mm-hmm.
Which should be, I guess, a no-brainer for anybody else that wants to get involved in another fighter, I guess.
If anything, I think that would I could see why some non-DOA fighting game players would be jealous, because it's like, look at DOA4, it's got fancy, it's got big boobs and all these pretty graphics, and all of a sudden 10 grand prizes, but a long storied rich tradition of Third Strike doesn't get that.
Oh yeah, well that has happened a few times, not a lot, but it's just it always comes down to someone bashing it. It's like, well, if y'all didn't have Microsoft, or if y'all didn't have Xbox, or whatever it may be, I'm just like, well, whose fault is that? Is that our fault? Can we not capitalize on that?
But they're just stating obvious. If you didn't have Microsoft, we wouldn't do as well. Okay, what's your point?
What do you want me to do about that? Much the way I gotta say.
Microsoft backs Dead or Alive a lot, and that helps. You don't see Sony or Capcom backing Third Strike. Well, until the last Evo, but before that, they had no big company support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. I understand it perfectly. But I don't know. I would like to, I don't know what to exactly think of the game. as per se the game, but you know, there's absolutely no one that plays it up here. And then you know, then it goes back to the chicken and the egg.
Yep.
You know, and
It's just.
Ooh, I farted again. Ooh, I'm just full of air tonight.
Where you at right now? And
Me?
yeah.
I'm in Washington State. I live in SeaTac, so that's about 20 minutes south of Seattle.
Sweet. Oh, WCG is gonna be in Seattle.
Hmm.
I said World Cyber Games, the grand finals are gonna be in Seattle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's gonna be freaking sweet.
What games are going to be featured?
Well, DOA4 is one of the games, and Counter-Strike, and probably like Gears of War and all that other stuff. And like StarCraft or whatever.
Yeah. Like Ages of Empire and
They have Age of Empires in there? I didn't know that.
I think so. I do believe they do.
Well, I know StarCraft is definitely there because it's started off.
You know,
with Korea.
I've heard that that in Korea that people are so addicted to StarCraft that like a group of like 10 or 15 like StarCraft players will chip in and buy a house.
There are celebrities over there in Korea.
Wow.
You know, and just for the sole purpose of just playing, you know, Counter-Strike all day, you know.
Yeah, they get like 6-figure incomes and everything. They get the whole works over there.
Well, sure, I
And they're
can
like
play
stars, and
Counter-Strike.
they go out with movie stars from Korea. That's what I'm told, and that's what they talked about when I was in the last World Cyber Games.
Disgusting.
And they always have, they always have what do you call it? They always maximize the amount of players that they can take for StarCraft, so they can continue to win the World Cyber Games. Like the last one, they made sure they had. I think the max you can take as far as single competitors, they'll take three players. So they took all 3 players, and all 3 players got top 3
Yeah. Korea did not lose in StarCraft.
at all.
Mm-mm.
Only against each other, and that was sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like really serious as far as like that's their domain over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I heard about some guy in StarCraft. He died playing StarCraft. He forgot to eat.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too.
Oh,
I just want to know
yeah,
how the hell you forget to eat. That's like forgetting to blink. I mean, that's pretty dang.
You gotta build those bases, man, or whatever they do in StarCraft.
Man.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you know what? It's sad though because like I think that the problem with MMORPGs is that like I remember my friend was telling me that he tried to play Final Fantasy 11 not terribly long ago, and he just started as a new character. No one will not give him a time of day. They all have their own cliques, and
Yeah,
you ain't part of it.
That's why you don't play Final Fantasy 11 at all.
You know.
That's rough. I mean, you spend a lot of time on that and get 0 money back.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for a second. It's just like I remember because you know he's a good friend of my brother's, and I remember he was like, man, it's like being down in I don't know Bushwick, Alabama, being a Negro asking for directions. You know, it's just people just being like, fuck you, basically.
But I mean, what they're doing in Korea, as far as like how StarCraft is, what they're pretty much trying to do in America now, as far as championship gaming series is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to build up the same hype, you know, player salaries, where you know, just like the StarCraft players in Korea get like these big, huge salaries. I mean, we're not going to be at that level yet, but they get huge, like 6-figure salaries, and they're pretty much trying to establish that over here in the U.S. with the championship gaming series. And of course, there's a lot of other ideas that have been popped up as far as, you know, different game modes for DOA. I can't really say what, but they've been different ideas, and there's also been different ideas as far as involving other fighting games.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think they need to do? I think they need to start getting like celebrities, especially like sports celebrities, to start playing fighting games. You know how they play Madden?
Oh, Vin Diesel plays DOA.
Yeah, I played Vin Diesel the other day.
See, I never knew about that. But see, I knew that what's his face played in the Madden tournament because it's been all over TV. You know, so I mean, I was just gonna say I didn't know Vin Diesel played DOA. If they should show it then.
Yeah. Well, what happened was there was a tournament in LA, and he wasn't even gonna be there. I had met one of his friends, and he said, and his friend's like, "Oh, you're one of the top players in DOA," and he's like, "Oh, guess what? I have a really close friend that loves this game to heck." And I was like, "Okay." And he didn't say his name or anything. He just called him up and said, "You need to come down here and play this dude, whatever." And the guy just kind of showed up. And the thing is, the reason they didn't show it was because I think he had some kind of something to do with his contract or something like that. They didn't want media to cover him. Like, he tried to have no pictures taken at all. He was telling everybody. He was like, "Don't take any pictures," and everybody was telling everybody else, "Don't take any pictures." There was only like one picture taken throughout the whole thing, and very few people saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he plays it. He's like, "Yeah, I love this game," or whatever. And I was like, "That's cool." And then, in fact, the creator of DOA Central still has his contact information, and from what I'm told, he still touches base with them from time to time because he's trying to. Seems like he's trying to set up something, but I'm not sure what.
Lucky bastard. I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask a question, but now I forgot what I was gonna ask. Oh well. I guess all that fart has gotten to me. Alright, does anyone else have anything they want to ask?
Yeah, man, I can't wait till I'm on TV.
What do you think about gaming and television, man?
I think we need to have a fighting game cable channel. I think someone needs to approach Comcast and like, hey, listen. And like, and I mean, you know what they should do? They should just, what they should do? They should just have an advertisement for a fighting game channel, and what they do is they like go on Tech TV and just show the parry, the Daigo parry in Third Strike.
That got me into Third Strike. That got me into Third Strike. When I saw that, I was like, I gotta play this game. I'm going to play this right now.
I mean, I have never. Or better yet, they could show Duck versus Sanford. I mean, that's like, it was crazy.
It was.
It was crazy, and
And they should. So you're saying they should have a channel, a fighting game channel, and just show all fighting games and show those clips and stuff like that.
And they could show like clips from Evolution and the other tournaments, and also, I mean, and then like even like. The people that they aren't very good, that do a lot of shit talking. Get them on there. I mean, what you need to do is you got to have, you need to be able to create, some type of hype and like for example. I mean, well, obviously Eric is very good. Smooth Viper, I would like to, get him on there, and because Smooth Viper is actually good and he could talk mad shit. So I would like to get him on there and.
I see.
Yeah, but I think it'd be kind of cool though. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Everyone is talking about the Daigo event got me into fighting games. I'm like, man, that's something else because you know what? How he done that parry and no one would have said a word. It wouldn't have had the same. It wouldn't have the same impact. It wasn't. I mean, it is what he did, but it was actually the crowd's response. Because they knew that what he did was something really special. Like, okay, I guess I can't really do that. Although I have to, Alex Valle, my hands off to him. He was streaming CBS 2 matches. He was playing against Afro Legends. Afro Legends had Chun-Li, and Alex Valle had Ryu. He did Chun-Li super. He parried all the hits and killed him, and killed his character.
Oh, did the same thing?
Same thing.
Sweet. And I haven't talked to Alex Valle in a long time.
Oh yeah, he's a regular on the show.
Yeah, I was downloading a couple of the shows to see what's going on and what's been up lately, and I downloaded one where he was talking about a Texas Showdown from last year. He was talking about how he had played me. That was funny. And Jin Master was like, "Oh, you're talking about Master or whatever." It's just,
I don't remember that.
Huh?
I don't even remember that. He was talking about Texas Showdown last year.
Yeah, I don't know which show it was. I can't remember which one I downloaded or I had streamed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about Texas Showdown, and and he was saying he had played a DOA player, and he had mentioned my name or whatever, and how he was talking about being competitive in general with any game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember that now.
Yeah, and I was like, thought that was pretty cool. So you compete in any games? Are you competitive at all?
No, I'm a complete scrub, asswipe, whatever you want to call it, whatever derogatory term you could think of. But I like Street Fighter, and I like Guilty Gear, so it's, even though I can't play it worth shit, I still like it. So
Yeah, I play a little bit of Guilty Gear. I just really started getting into it a little bit.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like it's just like having your favorite music artist. You never can do the things that he does, or even you come close to it, but you can still appreciate what they do. So
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how I look at that, and and it's one of those things where that I have just as much fun watching than I do play myself. It's because even though that I can't really play fighting games competitively, I can still understand what's going on and understand what's being done. So I watch matches, and some of the matches are just really cool to watch. They're very entertaining,
Oh yeah.
So
as long as you understand just the basic fundamentals of the game, and just because of the fact that you've played fighting games, when you see it, or when you even see any fighting game, you see it and you're just like, you already know that was cool. Even if it was somebody that didn't play, like for example, Third Strike, and they saw the Daigo clip, they would know that something had happened.
That was, when I think of the Daigo clip, I have to remember that. That dude must have had nerves of steel, because he was almost dead, and one chip would have done it, and to pull that out like that's something. Yeah, that's like a 1 in a million type of thing. I don't like to say 1 in a million, but you just don't see that very often. I only seen something. I have only seen one other thing that like really kind of measures up to it. Justin was playing Executioner in Marvel. Justin was getting murdered in this match, all right, and he had literally like 2 pixels left with Cable, and that's it. And Execution had all 3 of his characters. Do you know that Justin came all the way back and killed all 3 characters? And I remember Executioner. He was just shaking his hands. He was losing his mind. He lost his mind. And after that, and that's one of the most classic, Marvel vids I've ever seen, was that, because he only had just one chip shot would have killed Justin, and Justin came all the way back, And then
Yes.
that's why in every game there's always things like that where you go, wow, just like I'm sure that a lot of people picked up Magneto when Sue embarrassed Justin, that in that one team training a few years back with Magneto, and basically just OCV'd his entire team, and it's not only did he OCV the entire team, but he flat out showed off and embarrassed Justin, like doing these really 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 funky looking combos, snap back, snap back, on one character that's already dead. So it was. So yeah, but yeah, I think that if you start showing people the culture of fighting games, which like the crowd cheering like that, I think that could do a lot as far as helping fighting games reach the masses again. So
I definitely see that, because at the championship gaming shows recently, whenever DOA is in there, the crowd is completely wild. It's just, you have to be there to, and it looks like a Daigo video. You see all these people yelling when they see like this, because DOA is very it has that anime look, and it has a lot of anime type moves. So when something comes out and a bunch of smoke or this loud sound effect comes out, they just go wild. They're just like, what the heck just happened on the screen? Did I really just see that? So I think that's good, and you know, and that doesn't just help DOA by itself. Just it helps other fighting games because it's like, well, if this fighting game has this much potential, you know, there's got to be other fighting games that have just as much potential. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's good. I mean, I think like we were talking about earlier, I think we should definitely be more involved or find some kind of medium where, you know, we're all helping each other out so we can all, you know, benefit from what's going on right now.
Just not you yourself, because you're too busy want to go into PC games.
Oh God, that's just one of the other options.
Right.
Man, where's Street Fighter 4 is what I'm waiting for, man. Come on.
Well, if you want Street Fighter 4, that means when Super Turbo HD Remix comes out, you'll buy it.
I probably will buy it.
You buy it for yourself and buy it for a friend. I mean, I am serious, people. I mean, Capcom is testing the water with that. They're putting their foot in the water and see if there's a community out there for Street Fighter again. You know, we can send them two messages. One is we cannot buy the game and tell Capcom that to keep Street Fighter series dead, besides the occasional compilation release, or we can all buy it and show Capcom that, okay, let's invest some money. Because you know what? Even though that this is not Street Fighter 4, they're still investing a lot of money into this game, because you're talking about remaking a game, you know, the graphics from start, you know, and you know, hiring a very, you know, hiring the you know, people that did the comics, you know, Udon for doing the comics, you know, so they really are putting some effort into this. So, I mean, I think that's
good. I mean, that's great. I mean,
so
obviously they're hearing the community. They're hearing the communities talk about, you know, that they want another game out.
And I mean, you know what? I almost want to say that that when it comes out, I will borderline spam that game to people that just don't even play Street Fighter or fighting games, because, you know, it's one of those things where even if all of us buy it, I mean, we're only a drop in the bucket compared to, you know, the amount of people this game is going to be marketed to. So,
right.
You know, I mean, I'll be like, wherever, you know, I'm going to be like, man, tell people, whoever got an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, you know, buy this game, buy this game, buy this game, buy this game.
When is it actually coming out? When is the release date for that?
They haven't announced a release date. I think it will be out before the end of the year, though.
Oh, okay, I see.
You know, I think it will be. But you know what? I don't want to rush them. Take all the time they want, And the great thing is that the thread. For those of you who don't know, I did create a thread about Super Turbo HD Remix, and it's on Capcom's site. Just go to AlphaISM.com. There's a thread, and it'll take you to Capcom's site. And if you actually look in there, you will see a Capcom exec actually post in that thread that he likes what he's seeing, and
that's
keep
pretty
posting.
Sweet.
So,
definitely got some attention then.
Yeah, it got some attention, you know, and so I tell people, you know, whatever you know, even if you're not an ardent fan, we like to hear from you too, because the thing about it is, in that thread, I made a point that if they were to add anything extra to the game other than what's always been announced, that it should be something that benefit both the novice and experienced players alike, and not just something that benefits experienced players. Like for experienced players, having an arrange mode would be cool, but to the novice, you know, they really won't be able to tell the difference between, you know, the arrange mode and the arcade mode, the original arcade mode. You know, so I mean, I have suggested. I'm thinking about editing mine, because I think that alternate outfits will be such a huge thing. I will almost say I will willingly sacrifice the arrange mode if it means that they will draw alternate outfits for the characters and give a custom edit, a color edit mode. Like on Sunday we were talking about all of the different alternate outfits we can come up with. Like Chun-Li, you know, she works for Interpol, so she have her Interpol police outfit along with her standard outfit that she's known for. Ken, he's like, I think he has his own company, so we can have him in a suit, you know, type of, you know, as well as his G. You know, Ryu, he could just have a white beater and a giant jeans on. He's not that complicated of a guy. You know, you can go on and on with it, and with color mode added into color edit mode added into it, you can really create some unique looking characters. And people love customization and being able to show off what they created, and I think that's a killer idea, and I will push for that because I think that the whole point of this game is HD and a new look. And what better way to show it in HD by showing people, editing, creating their own characters, And I mean, I can't. I mean, if they would add that into it, to me, that would be the official, bail that this game will sell like hotcakes, and if people are going to be learning because I'll be telling people, look at my character, this is what Ken looks like. Look at my Ryu, yeah. Because I mean, yeah.
Man, what the heck is that on the screen?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be extremely cool because you mean they can even take it so far as not just alternate outfits, but they can have like in Virtua Fighter where one person wears a hat, some don't wear a hat, and a lot of people are saying, well, that's a lot of time, but these are the things that people will really notice, and these are the things that help market the game because remember, in the end, it's still all about business. It's not about what we want. It's all about business. And to me, if you have such customization available, I would gladly and take that in front of almost everything else besides good network code for that because I mean that would be such a really really cool thing, and I think it would do a lot of good for marketing the game.
And I think every fighting game should always have that option.
Oh, I agree. I
mean, it just makes it. I don't know. It just has like you said. I mean, it's just more enjoyable that way. It's like you get to show what you made. You know what I'm saying? And not only do you get to show what you made, but if you're good at the game, you can also say, "I whooped you with my character. That's my character, not your character." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of, and I even extended it that not only should they be able to edit the clothes and maybe some of the looks, but even like some of the moves, like for example, Zangief has that backhand move with the glowing hand.
Yeah.
Maybe you can change the color of that. Since if you have a blue theme going with Zangief, maybe the hand will be glowing blue too.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, the sky's kind of the limit on how far they want to go with it. Obviously, it's got to be practical, but at the same time, though, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that should always be an option.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, so I would love to do that. So.
What do you? I was gonna ask you one last thing. What do you think about an online play as far as games go?
You know what? I think that there have been two people that have been on the radio that says that the technology is there to play fighting games online where lag is not a serious issue. All right.
Okay. What technology are we talking about?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know but they're saying the technology is there. I think that it's just a matter of getting it to the right people, in front of the right people, and tell them that how important good network code is. Because if to me, the only way I see to rejuvenate the fighting game genre is not by reinventing the wheel. It's just riding the wheel. Why is Counter-Strike so popular? Well, you can play it online. Obviously. If Counter-Strike could not be played online, I mean, it'd die. It would die, and... Oh, we got a special guest. Hold on for a second.
Okay.
What's up, Tom?
Hey. This is Tom.
Huh? Tom. This is Tom Cannon, one of the owners of SRK.
Yeah, so you're talking about online play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You was the other person that said that, because Serlin said it was possible, too.
Yeah, Serlin's been kind of cagey about it, and I've been cagey about it. And I finally got permission from Ponder to talk about what we've been cagey about, so I'll just spill it. So Tony has written, Tony Cannon, my brother, has written, basically, he started with the emulator Final Burn, and he's written, like, a version of Alpha 2, just because that's his favorite game, I guess. Mm-hmm. That has essentially 1 frame of lag, so 1/30th of a second of lag cross country, and we've tested this and it works, and it's basically really beautiful. So now we're sort of thinking about what should we do with this? So right now it's
patent it. patent
Well,
it.
well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. So, when I was on last time, I said that if you have someone who has a lot of networking experience, a lot of Street Fighter experience, then they could probably do something. Well, Tony has those characteristics, right? Like he's, it's kind of funny, like because you think about these, kids that used to play Street Fighter and now we're like adults and doing things. Like Seth's working at Capcom and Sterling's like making these games, and like Derek is like the combat designer for God of War and God of War 2. It's crazy, right? Yeah.
Right.
So Tony is like 10 years of networking, real-time networking experience, working at companies like Microsoft and stuff. So he like really knows what he's doing. And the way that he's doing this is very, it kind of blows my mind when he describes it to me. And I can't say anything about it because it actually is something that's pretty cool, maybe patentable. But yeah, so like
Online, what you're saying is still online play is possible to the point where it's only one frame of lag.
Yeah, and the one frame is kind of like maybe you can do better, but one frame just seems good enough, right? One frame,
Well, I mean,
like
yeah.
your
Well,
button,
it's a lot better.
like a little orange juice in the button, so it sticks a little. That's one frame of lag, right?
Right.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, he's done this as just a demonstration that, like, because
And he's tested this.
We've tested it, like, we started out testing it locally, and then we did like California, so it was like me. Like he played like Joey in LA, and that worked. And then we started playing like some of the guys on the East Coast who like really know how to play Street Fighter.
I was about to ask that. I'm like, have you had anyone that really knows the game?
As far as we can tell, like this like is real and it really works. And
it's consistent. Is that what it is? I mean, it's consistent just one frame, or does it vary?
No, I assume it does vary to a very small extent. I assume it varies.
Well, eventually the network takes over, right? If you like unplug your network cable for seconds and plug it back in, you're not gonna have one frame of lag then. But under normal network conditions, like normal, not like ideal, but normal network conditions, it's like a consistent one frame of lag.
Oh, okay, I understand now. I get what you're saying.
And so I don't know what Tony's gonna do with this. I mean, we talked about just sort of putting it out there as like just to like slam the door on this impossible talk. It's just kind of annoying when every time there's a networking thread, someone says, well, because of the speed of light and whatever, it's impossible to get good networking code for a fighting game. That's just bogus.
So I mean, obviously, since I mentioned it, I would patent it because who knows, this guy may make you guys millionaires if you ain't already. But I mean, but seriously, I mean, whenever you come up with something where it really answers such a need, because can I ask this? Can this be applied in other applications, not just fighting games?
Well, I don't know.
Because has it been discussed? Like, could this be applied to other games that are really frame dependent on, on
So I don't want to describe at
Right.
all sort of what it would be appropriate for or not, because I haven't gotten permission to talk about that from Tony. But speaking generally, I mean, the reason why there hasn't been really good netcode for fighting games in the past is because each game is different, right? Fighting games are different from first-person shooters, and they're different from strategy games, different from puzzle games, right? And different techniques apply to different games. Like the brain dead example is in a first-person shooter, odds are if someone's traveling in a particular direction, or a bullet is traveling in a particular direction, it's going to keep going in that direction, so you can do prediction. Sometimes that breaks down, but it's something you can do. You can't do that in a fighting game. If you tried it, it just won't work, right? Because
I'm
the
a throw
nature of the
punch because I
game
think
is you're
someone
constantly moving in an unpredictable way, right?
Right.
So, could this apply to other games? Maybe, probably, but it's probably not the right thing to do for other games. You probably want to do something that's, could you apply it to a puzzle game? Sure, because, a puzzle game doesn't matter. You can have like a half second lag and it wouldn't matter. So you could probably apply any technique to a puzzle game. Would you want to apply to a first-person shooter? Probably not, just like you wouldn't want to apply first-person shooter techniques to a fighting game.
Right. But, okay, so let me ask you a question. Well, shoot. I am very happy that the technology is there where it is possible to play the game where lag is not a real issue. I mean, I think most people would be happy if the game didn't have, if there was only 3 frames of lag, So, or 2 frames, but if it's within 1 frame or 2 frames of lag, that's remarkable, and it's almost like hey, you can play with certain converters and joysticks that will have more lag than that. So, hey, I think that's an awesome. I think what your brother did is awesome, and I want to commend him. And I would tell them the first thing to do is to call up the patent office, go and patent that, because and then after that, I will actually do some presentations in front of some video game companies. I'm like, hey, listen, and even then, you could just, hey, it's like, okay, here's Exhibit A. This is what you guys have now. This is Exhibit B. This is what you guys have now, or this is what you guys could have,
And that's good. That's real good stuff, because as far as fighting games are concerned, or any game, like you said, it might be possible to use in different games, but just the fact that the arcade scene is dying. What else do you have besides online play?
We don't have anything else, because unlike Japan, we're not all stuck on one island where we can just ride our train down to the arcade. So,
like you said, when you have such a need like that, it's huge. It's definitely huge, I think, in my eyes.
I'm happy, I'm tickled pink, actually, I'm just as happy as when I heard about Super Turbo HD, because my question is this: without going into specifics, would this be hard to implement if let's just say,
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not the expert on this. Yeah,
Right.
and let's not get ahead of ourselves. What we have, or what Tony has, because I'm just sort of watching and cheering him on, is like a technology demonstration.
Right.
Like he came up with a technique that reduces lag in fighting games,
but it's practical, right? That's basically what I'm asking.
Yeah, it was an idea, and he implemented it and verified that idea works. Right.
Right.
So,
And it wasn't done under conditions that would not exist in the real world. That's basically what I was asking. Right. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, he's got like a demonstration of a technology that proves that it's possible to have really good online play in a fighting game, right? Mm-hmm. So where you go from there is this is like step one in a very long process, wherever that process would eventually lead. It's so.
Well, I am Tinkle
Don't
Pink.
Get too far ahead of yourself.
Right. I don't want to get too ahead. I understand you want to, get too ahead of yourself, but at the same time, though,
possibilities.
I'm not actually at liberty to speak, so actually I can't say anything more. So, well, in any case, I'm very happy about about that, and I hopefully that we will see that implemented and of course, but more importantly, for Tony to get the credit, because we all can donate towards the community's goodwill in different ways. You don't necessarily have to be the best player out there. Everyone has skills and talents that they can utilize to help the community, and this is just another sterling example of doing so. But
that takes a lot of time.
I don't even want to know how long he actually worked on that project. Because it's probably years, most likely years, and that's an incredible amount of dedication, and I can't even say myself that I would have the willpower to keep with it, because I'm sure when you're inventing anything, when you're doing something from scratch, you're going to encounter so many roadblocks and so many dead ends, and at some point most people start getting discouraged, but then I guess, but some people like Tony persevered, and now they done something that most likely will change. Oh my God!
Hold on! You're getting way too far ahead of yourself. Stop making big speeches.
No, but I can't say anything. Okay.
That'll be a big letdown later on or something.
Don't say you can't say anything like you know something. Maybe you know something that I don't know, but
No, it's one of those things where. Well, it's one of those things where if I'm trying not to give a big speech about it though, but you understand. But up to this point, no one has came up with anything. With the developers that make, well, they don't really make all that great money, but the developers hired by these billion-dollar companies, obviously they could not do what your brother did.
Yeah, well, don't put those guys down, because this is a really hard problem, right?
Right.
And like I said, it takes like kind of I think a special set of a special background to think about this problem, right? Like you could, like if you just have to understand exactly why lag is really bad in Street Fighter, not even fighting games, right? Because you guys were talking about a couple of days ago, I think, Mortal Kombat. Alex came on and was talking about Mortal Kombat. And whatever they did for Mortal Kombat seems to have worked for MK, right? But the way MK responds when you hit the button is a little bit different than the way Street Fighter responds.
Right.
The amount of time it takes to block. Mortal Kombat's very different because when you block, you hit a button, right?
Right.
And I don't know exactly, but it's probably pretty close to instant, right? But they're actually blocking frames in Street Fighter. If you hold the stick back, you don't block on that frame. Right. It takes a few frames before the block will register. And those couple of frames of lag can be like the difference between being able to block stupid shit like jump roundhouse, low roundhouse, or not. Right. So yeah. So the fact that no one's been able to provide good online play for Street Fighter, I don't think is, it's not like a mark of shame or anything. It's just
no, I don't really mean it that way, but I would say, I think what you're, even if it turns out that the entire project will only work for Street Fighter Alpha 2, all right, then that's still an incredible accomplishment, and that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to drop that bit of knowledge.
I was gonna say, with something like this, just pretend for a second that this just blew up huge or whatever, and this would be used for all fighting games. Just assuming, just throwing it out there. Do you think online play would be something that be close to legit now if it was just like that with one frame, or you still would? Obviously you would still prefer offline, the purest amount of play that you can get, but would you be able to consider online play as a legitimate, form of play? Like if they were to start throwing online tournaments. They still do it now, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Thinking like in the abstract, you look at, I guess, like pro gaming, whatever that means, right? Like tournaments and things like that. There hasn't ever been a console game that has had like, a pro gaming scene to it, where it's on console. Like Halo is probably the biggest thing you can think of.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like the idea of like replacing arcades with consoles that's a long road, and this would be like a necessary component. Like you have to be able to play a real game online, right? But even if you did that, you need a lot of developer support, like the ability to run tournaments within the game and not having to like go out to like IRC or some forum to coordinate the matches. But this would be if you had good online play in a network fighter, that would be one component. But then, you need the developer support to at least, to have like real good rankings, for instance. Okay.
Right. Yeah. That's an enigma in itself. How do you prevent people from cheating, and how do you prevent people from,
There are some pretty obvious things, right? Like, disconnects need to count as a loss. And, you need to have a system where you don't have to play, like, grind games for 6 months to be number one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because of the fact that things are starting to be held online as far as, like, qualifiers for, big tournaments,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but, the console games, online gaming in consoles has been, like, about 4 years behind PC. If you look at where the PC games are now, where you have like the World Series of video games, where they've got like, they just have they have like online qualifiers. I think they have online qualifiers. But you could take a game like Warcraft 3, and they have like seasons sponsored by Blizzard, and they have like tournaments, and you can just like log into Warcraft 3 and say, I want to play a tournament, right? And they have them scheduled like once every 2 days or something, and then you're just playing in the tournament, and then if you win enough games, you're in a bracket, and if you win enough games, you win the tournament, and then it gets published on Blizzard's site, right? So, maybe in a couple of years or soon, maybe Capcom can step up to the plate and start adding that kind of support to their games. That would be awesome.
Well, to me, I think that one of the things that will definitely help the Street Fighter community is just what you're saying is, getting Capcom and, to sponsor events like these. But I also think that the lag is only one slice of the pie. To me, having a really great training mode, of course, we just talked about the great ranking system, having, teaching people how to play the game, whatever gets them to not just get them interested, but keep them playing and teach them something new. That to me will determine the success of it. Because if people play games and they don't understand what's going on, soon enough their interest wanes, and then you lost that person pretty much forever. Unless something happens. So I would like, to me, if I was in charge of product and development, I want to make sure that when we put, I'm going to use Super Turbo as an example, if we put Super Turbo HD Remix online, I want to see to it that there are ways for people to learn the game. Because obviously if they learn how to play the game, they'll play the game more often. They play the game more often, and that means that, of course, the game, it makes the game successful, and it gives you an audience for the next version of the game you do.
I think there should be a training or some kind of sparring online option.
Yeah, I mean,
training mode online would be awesome. Where you just join a match with someone and you just play.
You're just sparring. You're not gonna die. You can quit whenever you want. And
sparring mode, that'd be great.
Training mode, and I also think that I would even go so far as I was talking to Alex about this, about having top players give constructive criticism. You can show someone how to do all the combos in the world, but that doesn't still show you how to play the game.
Right.
And stuff like that. I mean, all of that will play a part. As far as especially on the training mode side of it, because I would want the training mode. I think that tournaments. It's almost like I almost want to make it where tournaments should be divided up depending on the person's skill level. And I would say this: if you don't pass this part of the training process, in other words, if you're with Ryu and you can't do jumping roundhouse, crouching, medium, fireball, 3-hit combo, then I don't know if you're really ready to take on the world. All right,
in other words, where you have. What you're saying is you have to work your way to play these players.
Right. Because you know what?
Yeah.
If you don't, then when they lose, or when I lose really badly, and that's going to really, that's going to make them feel like shit. So, so that's the whole point of it. It's not that, we're trying to say that they're really bad, but we're just trying to say you got a long way to go before you do that,
Before you play Michael Jordan.
Right. And I think the computer AI is my last point. The computer AI, there's no way you can replicate the innovation that comes with the human brain. However, you can replicate the computer AI to do combos that professional players do. That's what I would like them to do. Or certain patterns that the computer can detect that top players will pick up on and then respond accordingly. Now, that will take a lot of work, but it will do so much. It will do so much to improve their gameplay. Like, for example, if you throw too many fireballs, they're gonna jump over you and do an uppercut. Jump over you and land a combo of some sort.
They did that a little bit with DOA. They did certain combos that players had done or had put on videos, and now the computer does that now on DOA4.
But okay, I'm sorry. I was just reading something there. No, I was just saying. This is just my ideas. No, you're not interrupting. You're not interrupting, Tom. I was just saying, going back to what you're saying. Great network coding, great training mode, and great AI, great rankings. Basically, that's really all. If you have those ingredients, then I think that it will have what it takes to create a successful online community that will have constant growth. And I wish Ink didn't leave. Because I would like his input too, because after all, he's a tournament director. So he might be able to account for things that I don't take into account. So or have ideas that I don't have. So it's good it's good to have people like that on the air to bounce ideas off of. And I know that what I'm saying is a pretty ambitious. it's pretty ambitious, but I don't think nothing less. I mean, but if you want to be successful, you have to be ambitious to an extent.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's over ambitious to expect great rankings, great network code, great training mode. I don't think so. I mean, I think that's just a prerequisite, actually, on what it takes to have a successful, fighting game community. And eventually, if that does get set up, then I want to see that being cross-pollinated, and eventually, maybe on your gamer tag, you will have your rankings for Super Turbo HD Remix and Dead or Alive 4 and so forth and so on.
Yeah. You definitely need a legit ranking. It seems like every ranking out there is jacked up.
All right. Let me clear something up. For those of you who are just joining us, well, Tom Cannon was just on here, and he was telling us of what his brother has done. He wrote code that would make lag. He says 1 frame or less. And they perfected this on Alpha 2, and they had dedicated Alpha 2 players to confirm this. I am very happy because even if it can, let me tell you something. No, too many people won't be mad if they only can apply to Alpha 2, but I don't really think so. I think they'll be able to apply it to any Capcom fighter. Now, can it apply to other fighters? Yeah, I think so. It would just take some. It would take some redoing because I'm sure that whatever the program he wrote, I'm sure there's a basic element to it that can be applied to other fighting games, and perhaps help it there, But of course, it depends on how the fighting game is structured. For example, it may not work for Mortal Kombat as Tom stated. So maybe it will. But even if that is the case, maybe from here on out, if there's something, if that technology, I am serious. They should patent that technology like right now. They should patent that. If that technology is used, and is shown to be, successful, then the fighting games in the future that are going to be developed, they can be used, and this technology can be used for those fighting games, and it could be really, really pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. I mean,
it's definitely what you need.
One thing that made me wonder, based on what Tom just told me, or told us here on the radio. I don't know if you listened to the interview I had with Sherlin. At the very end, he said that he's working on the greatest thing ever. It has something to do with Capcom. And I think this may be it. Lagless online play. That would be the best thing ever for the fighting game genre. Because we no longer have arcades. By the way, one other thing that I would like to add, I think another pretty cool have a good way for the players to interact and keep track of each other. Just like we have RSC and AIM and MSN and Yahoo, they need to have some type of way of being able to coordinate with each other and finding each other easily. So, but all right. Did you have anything else that you want to add?
No, just I guess give a couple shout outs or whatever to some people that are listening right now because they're over here telling me they're listening.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure if you getting into DOA again, or if you want to know anything DOA related, you can go to DOAcentral.com. You want to know a little more about me, you can go to team3d.com, or you can go to my MySpace, myspace.com/_DOAmaster_. You can also catch me on the CGS website, thecgswebsite.com,
mm-hmm.
and dfwgames.com, the mbgaonline.com. I'm all over the web, man.
Wow. Okay.
So just you can go to all these websites and just you can always give me a holler. I'll message back. And I like this. I like your show, man. Hands down. Like what you're doing here. So I'll probably hop on if you don't mind.
That's true. I was about to tell you, don't be a stranger. You're part of the family now. So you can't desert us. So I mean, definitely, if anything, come back, before the June tournament and let us know.
Oh, definitely.
And
I'll be here before the June tournament, and I'll be here after because, there's a Playboy Mansion, right?
What?
Oh, you didn't hear about the Playboy Mansion?
No.
Oh, see, this is why you need to play DOA. Because there's a tournament in June 9th or 10th, and right after that, it will be the draft. The draft takes place at the Playboy Mansion.
What is a draft?
A draft is you're going to get players, actually it's 12 DOA players. 6 of them, they're going to have a girl division. 6 girls will have their whatever. The girls will get drafted. And there'll be 6 guys. 6 guys will be drafted into one of 6 teams. So each person will be on a different team for 6 regions in the U.S. Each player will get a salary for playing their game, for a whole year. So you're gonna get paid for playing, DOA. Is pretty much what's going on. And the draft is pretty much they're gonna base your talent, your personality, and all that stuff at this qualifier that's gonna take place. This national qualifier is gonna take place June 9th and 10th, and on the 12th, I believe, everybody will be put together at the Playboy Mansion, and you will have 6 general managers pretty much, I guess, walk around, look at the talent, and they will choose who they want on their team.
True, cool, and
I definitely want to come back to tell you how I went at the Playboy Mansion.
Nice. Yeah, tell us how that goes. I mean, that's a hell of an opportunity. I mean, and I'm sure there's gonna be a hell of media there because this after all is the Playboy Mansion. So
yeah.
So all right.
I'll give you a shout out at the Playboy Mansion, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Toshi.
Hey, look, whatever stays in the grotto is in the grotto. All right. Seriously.
What did you say?
I said whatever's done in the grotto stays in the grotto at the mansion.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna ask any questions. Well, yes, I will.
Yes, you will.
I ask him, like, hey, did you get some head? Did you grab on some titties? I'm
just curious how much freedom they're gonna give us there. That's really what I would like to know. We're just gonna get to walk around. What's the deal?
Yeah, probably.
Shoot. It's gonna get buck wild in there. Okay. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys, you having me on the show. So.
No problem. Thanks for coming on, man, and I really do appreciate it. I learned a lot about DOA4 tonight, and I'm sorry I spaced it. I was supposed to have this, this show advertised ever since Sunday, but I have completely so.
That's okay. It's cool.
But
awesome opportunity.
It is all recorded and it'll be up tomorrow. And tonight. I actually, if anything, maybe Tom owes you a bit of apology because he dropped some information that basically overshadowed anything you said about Dead or Alive 4.
An apology, man. When I get back, I want to hear.
So, but it's all good. I'm glad that you came here, and of course I look forward to talking to you in the future. And of course you're welcome on the show anytime you want.
Awesome. And whenever that gets up, you put up on the show. I'll definitely put it all over the DOA Central and all the other websites.
Cool.
So your show gets more recognition.
Cool. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right. Well, if there's not anything else, I think that will pretty much conclude the show. I thank everybody for joining us tonight. Of course, keep chaps. Oh, there is one thing I want to mention.
Stalling?
Yeah, no.
Come on, that's good. People got to know about the stalling.
All right, now, there's been people who messaged me asking me, is there a show tonight or tomorrow or whatnot? Normally, at first, I really didn't mind that. I'm like, no, I just say yes, no, whatever. And now every day, at least 5 to 10 to 15 people message me asking me if there's a show for blah, blah, blah. I mean, people, there's a reason the forum exists, and my site exists. Any information about the show will be on the site. So please, before you ask, check out the site. Now, if you want to ask a clarifying question about the show, I don't mind it at all. But please do not be lazy and just simply type, click on my name and type, is there a show tonight, without looking first.
Read the thread.
Yes, I'm seriously, I'm just going like, hey, read the thread. That's what I'm telling you. Read the thread. So, I promise you that, by the way, if you guys have noticed that the post on AlphaISM Radio, the thread, the very first post I put on there, it has been condensed. All of the past episodes have been moved to another thread that I created, another post I created. So it's now, so you don't have to like scroll through all the episodes to get to the bottom or to the top or whatnot. So I condensed it so it's a lot easier to read. So again, this is due to feedback. People gave me feedback on what I can do to improve the site. People said, there was too much on the original post. So again, your feedback is appreciated, and the best place to give feedback is on my forum, alphaism.com, or forum.alphaism.com, and just go in there. There's a thread on there. Tell me what you think. Post in there. Tell me what you would like to see. What guests would you like to see me have on the show? I know I hardly ever get that. Like what guests have I not had on the show yet that I think I should have, and stuff like that. Things to do that you think. Remember, keep it positive, keep it constructive. Please don't send me your show is shit. Well, thank you. I mean, that doesn't really help me at all. So, but other than that, people, I am out. It is time for me to eat and watch some Star Trek with 7 of 9 because because of her boobs, though. All right.
Oh God.
What season?
I haven't decided, so it's going to be between season 4 and 7, so that's when she appeared. I'm saying. But thanks. Thanks to you, Master, for joining us, and man, I wish you the best of luck in the tournament.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, you guys take it easy.
All right.
All right, bye.
Ben.
What?
Okay, seriously, when are we going to hear all these preppy stories?
I'll do the next show.
And you got a time frame for that, or just check the thread?
No, I don't have a time for that, so you're just going to have to keep on checking the thread.
Check the thread.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, take it easy.
All right.
Late.
Late.